Welcome to part 10 of the Spongebob Creature from the Krusty Krab Let's Play, and we're going to be continuing on with Patrick's second in level. Oh, and this is actually going to be the last of Patrick's second level, because we only have two more sections, both in the same video. It's relatively short, so it's really not too long, but then again, this is tutorial on the next flying stage. We now have a gun where we can shoot enemies. Block anything that's blocking you or whatever. Here, you shooting is as simple as pressing the X button, and so it's really nothing too complicated. No, you don't get a charge shot. So, it's really just one shot. Yeah, just a one shot thing, no charge. But this is one of the only times where, in a flying section, where it's gonna loop up until you do a specific task. Like, here I had to destroy these energy cores. We're gonna be going up to a part later on where we actually gonna have to do the same thing. However, in this third area, instead of shooting in the power supply, we now have to fly through rings. Gee, isn't this is so not cliche at all, now is it? Flying through the rings, though, it's really nothing hard. And then again, the controls aren't really that bad. And other than that, there's really nothing else to say, other than the fact that you can shoot stuff now. Oh, but still the same kind of gameplay style. Okay, we're actually coming up to this section right here. Okay, so this is another one of these sections where it's gonna keep looping, and so the only way out of it is to shoot the energy crystals. Oh, it's just so you can open the door. Why can't we just fly around it? I have no idea. It's nothing too hard. Or you should really, it's not so hard to, you really should mash the X button, and just so you can shoot down the crystals really quickly. Random sleepy seed. Okay. Overall, these flying levels are okay, really. It's not, these flying sections are not terrible by any means. In fact, if I can credit this game for one thing, like I keep mentioning, there's tons of different gameplay styles you can go for, even if it's based off the same thing, whether it's platforming or beat 'em up. There can be variations to that. But we also have these on-rail shooting sections, and which are a nice change of pace, I guess. As these levels aren't too long. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Patrick's second level is not too long. But it is tutorial, so I can understand that. Oh, well, I'm getting lucky with these sleepy seeds. Oh, but I cannot wait for SpongeBob's flying section, or SpongeBob's third level. And I somehow made it through that. And now we have to fight a UFO that's coincidentally shaped like a Krabby Patty. I wonder why. Alright. So now we are going on to probably one of the only boss fights. boss fights are really pretty much limited to the shooting sections, and even then, they're not really boss fights. If anyone's played a Crash Bandicoot 3, if anyone's played Crash Bandicoot 3, or Crash Bandicoot 2, remember the boss fight with Engine where you have to shoot specific parts of the mech? This is pretty much the same. This is pretty much the same kind of fight. However, unlike the Crash games, this one is pathetically easy. You should never, ever stop mashing the shoot button on this guy. Boom, he's dead. Yep, like I said, it wasn't going to be that long. And obviously, when it comes to the character cycle, obviously Plankton's gonna be next. If you looked on the cover of the game, right, you would see that there's a giant Plankton, and right. Although I really should say that I honestly think this is one of Patrick's best moments. Instruction manual? Nah, nobody reads these things. But now we are now we are at the part of the game where you realize that this game was actually inspired from the episode Sleepy Time. Because now we are going to be finally playing as the giant plankton monster, who has been also advertised to the game's trailers, and even on the front cover. Assuming if you figured out that Plankton was going to be a playable character to begin with. Although, how did Plankton get back to size? Yep, we are now finally playing as the giant Plankton. And is it worth the wait? The answer's yes and no. And the reason why I say that, well, yes, because it is fun to destroy a lot of things basically. On the other hand, my God, does he have a lot of level segments? And I can't help to feel that this one drags out. That these plankton stages in particular drag out way too long. There weren't as many level segments for the first plankton chapter. But this one, and it honestly gets more difficult later on. Believe me. But controlling the giant plankton monster, we can. All right, so in order to do a regular punch, we press the X button. And to do a stomp, we press the circle button. And these megaphones I'm collecting, they're pretty much like the roar ammo. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. Roar ammo. I love that. Yeah, you can just trip. To roar, if you have any roar ammo, you can press the triangle button, and you'll create pretty much a shockwave or something all around you, and it'll destroy everything in its path. And to fire your eye laser, you simply press the square button, and it's really useful, in my opinion, next to the punch. It's really good for those long-ranged enemies that we're going to be encountering later on, in the next part, actually. But now we gotta find a ticket. Even though Plankton is a 50 feet tall, well, he's an evil genius, but at the same time, he has manners. he's pretty much, even though he's a giant in plankton, even though he's giant, and he has to, even though he destroys everything, he still has to pay for a ticket. Ugh. Ugh. And that was pretty much it for the first section. And now, I love this bit. Nothing will ever come between us except this giant plankton monster. I love humor like that. But when it comes to level segments, there's going to be no save point in between in a majority of these segments. And it'll just take you straight to the next part. And well, I guess it saves the hassle. There are save points, but they're few far in between. And then they go pretty much along with a mini game. And speaking of mini games, we have this little mini game where we have to yank this sign out of the ground. Oh, and then for some reason we're on a time limit. And then, booyah. You know, Plankton, if you kill everybody, no one's gonna come to your restaurant, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm putting, logic, even though it is a very dangerous practice of when you're even though it is a very dangerous practice when it comes to gaming. With a few exceptions like Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty. And I can't believe I said that. Yeah. As far as the controls are okay. They're not the best, but it's playable. Well, it's decent control. Well, I mean, you are packing momentum when you're using punches, but I never really found it as a hazard or anything. As for the eye laser, it does take a bit for the eye laser to recharge, so don't think you can go crazy with it. We now have the military with these nets. It's tanks, and trust me, it's gonna be a burden later on. Oh yes, in the second segment of Giant Plankton. And yes, the second whole segment. And because, again, it's divided into miniature segments. Yeah. Jesus, when it comes to levels, just one game without heavy iron, and it's already losing its touch. They start becoming way too long, and I don't know if I actually said it at least in this way, but when it comes to the Battle for Bikini Bottom and movie game, as far as, the Banjo-Kazooie Super Mario 64 formula, I would actually want to see him take another shot at it. Because honestly, those games were really good. You got solid platforming, things to do. It was fun. But now we are heading on to our mini game. Right? The thing with no manners, even though we have to pay a ticket. Okay, so in this mini game, we basically have to knock down the building. And we do that by pressing the corresponding buttons that are on the windows. If you get it wrong, the pattern will turn into another button pattern that you need to do. But if you're a good enough player like me, even though I make one mistake, like here, or you could just knock down the whole building in a single go. Oh, there's nothing really too special about it. And this is pretty much the last of the mini games, is as far as mini game types go. But that is it for part 10, guys. Hey, next time we meet, we're gonna be going to the next segment, so on Game Man 5804, and you guys have a great day.